in the murder cap.
Flint City. It's the murder cap.
Help, I'm in the murder cap.
We need serious help.
Yeah.
And so the question that we are posing is, how does hip-hop impact our community? Or does hip-hop impact our community, to put it more neutrally? I didn't say how does it negatively or how does it positively, because we wanted to keep the question open to everyone and get everyone's input. But I want my panelists to introduce themselves, give us the names, say what they do, because they're all here because of the areas that they're in. I did not haphazardly choose this panel. I chose this panel because of the contributions they make in the areas that they are in. And I want them to answer the question, who you are, what do you do? And sometimes who you are is what you do, right? And how would you define hip-hop in your own way? So we will start down here with this young lady right here. I'll let her introduce herself.
Peace, y'all. My name is Mama Soul. I'm a hip-hop artist, poet, parent, humanitarian. I kind of define hip-hop by my lifestyle and the way that I live. I am hip-hop. So hip-hop reflects the way that I move, the way that I speak, the way that I communicate to the world through this microphone right here.
My name is David McGee. By nature, I'm a child of God. By profession, I'm on the staff of Big Brothers Big Sisters of Greater Flint. How I would define hip-hop would be a voice for the voiceless.
Peace, everyone. My name is Arian Poetess Muhammad. I'm a hip-hop artist, poet, songwriter, mother, cultural analyst. I'm in the Nation of Islam, and hip-hop to me, I think KRS-One best described it as being intelligent movement. It's our voice. I would say, like the brother said, it's our voice.
My name is LV. Some of y'all may have known me from radio here in Flint at Club 937, currently in Lansing at Power 96.5. I'm also a hip-hop and sneaker blogger. I pretty much run the station in Lansing. I'm involved in the community as a community activist, for the youth advocate, and overall, just a person that want to make sure everybody put a smile on their face.
My name is Thon. I represent 1/3 of the group Five Elements. We are hip-hop artists, community activists. We have a gallery called 5 Gallery in Detroit, where we run youth programs and other things like that. Hip-hop to us is at its basic nature. It's the 4 pillars. It's MCing, DJing, breaking, graffiti artists. You know, graffiti, and with us, the 5th element is the love. And that's who we are.
My name is Mud. I'm 1/3 of the notorious, infamous, greatest rap group of probably all time that y'all haven't really feasted your eyes on yet. 5 Elements, and just hail from Detroit. Like the brother said, you know, I'm more of a servant of God, a doer of God. Just came here with this hip-hop culture and was blessed to actually learn a lot about the arts, you know what I mean? Like the subculture of what hip-hop is, graffiti art, breakdancing, MCing, DJ, and what we call that 5th element, the love for all of those arts. So that's who I represent, the Most High first, and you know, a demonstrator of this culture.
So give our panel a round of applause. Okay, so there was something that like really hit me the other day. They did a write-up in the Flint Journal about the Community Culture Arts Festival. And it was a wonderful write-up about the artists who would be here, about Rakim, so thank you to the Flint Journal. They did a good job, right? The problem was, and I was really upset like for 2 days, and then I talked to Soul and she brought me down. I was mad, I was like mad. Were the comments. So there were like 12 comments. Of the comments, only 3 were either neutral or positive. The rest were negative. About, and when I say neutral, it wasn't like, you know, we hate hip-hop or anything. You know, it was just kind of like, oh, that's interesting. But the other ones were like really nasty and negative. The article said Rakim, a rapper for close to 30 years who was acknowledged as one of the best lyricists ever, was recruited for the event because of the intelligence and artistic integrity he'll bring to both the stage on Saturday and the discussion that unfortunately he's not here for. The person commented, in other words, a real poet laureate, looking forward to the inevitable crime blotter stuff that's sure to follow. The next comment says, sounds like this is just an attempt to talk about it long enough to try to convince the rest of us that it's acceptable and mainstream, this hip hop thing. What's the over and under number of shootings at the event? Probably 3 at least on Saturday alone. The next one, it says hip hop is part of their language, because he did say that. We were talking about the youth, and this is what they use as a vehicle to express themselves. Yeah, because society embraces all these non-talent C-rap artists. Look around at all the new graffiti all over Flint. This is part of their language too that we're forced to look at. I do not embrace this nasty, no respect culture. The very sound of rap beats on radio or TV, I turn it off because you'll never win. You'll never get me. Rappers, and they spelled it R-A-P-P-E-R-E-Z-Z-Z-Z-Z. The next one. The only attempt, well, that's not. Here we go, here we go. I hear enough of those jungle beats rattling my windows. This is a negative for the whole town. But we all know this, ebonic screaming idiots who kill their own for fun. Poet laureate my ass, so he didn't even get the facetiousness in the comment. But anyway, another criminal who needs to be locked up. The last one said, get ready to stack the bodies this weekend. Somebody will be disrespected, and they spelled it E-C-K-T-E-D at the end, and start the action. So, this is what a lot of people in our community feel about hip-hop, and the reason I say a lot is because I feel like the internet makes some people feel safe to say what they really feel. Right? So if it's only 10 people saying this, it's like another 10,000 that really feel it and just didn't see the article that day. And that really won't say it out loud in public, like somewhere here. Because I invited them all to come on Sunday and they can have a discussion. And I invited them all to come and volunteer at the Urban League, so we wouldn't have to be stacking bodies. So if this is how the community feels, a lot of the community feels that hip-hop is this totally negative thing. I would like your comments and feelings on not only the negative image that it has, but how real or founded is that image, or is it at all?
First off, no matter what culture or music that has come, that was introduced or was brand new to this world, it was always met with negativity. You know, they said the same thing about, let's say, we can go back to blues. Before rock and roll, you know, it mostly came from blues. And blues was basically coming from gospel at that time. So the soul music that what we were singing at the time, you know, it was evolving. And it always does evolve. So I think the negativity is always necessary for the artist, per se, like myself. Like that type of stuff I love to feed off of because I love breaking the stereotypes of people who think they know what our culture is about, or people who are just, you know, really ignorant. And I don't mean like that in a negative term. I mean really lacking knowledge of what this culture is about. Because I can say, honestly, from my perspective, this culture saved my life. You know, I grew up in the 80s when that crack experiment came through, and, you know, it was crack houses next door to me, on both sides, across the street. I can honestly say I never sold crack, you know what I mean? I've never killed another human being. But it was this culture that I was so interested in and I loved so much that kept me motivated in the studio, writing, creating, thinking outside the box, and just pretty much making me a better individual, you know what I mean? So I think it's always good that you do have that negativity, as with anything, because you just balance that with more positivity, and, you know, you show the world what's real to you, because you don't have to always embrace the negative, you know what I mean? You can use that as motivation.
Well, I like those comments that y'all just made, you know what I'm saying? But you know, I see things differently. I'm not disagreeing. I can see things differently. Working in radio, and I'm gonna really speak tonight from a radio perspective. The people have the power. Everyone in this room has the power to change anything. But the issue is not necessarily negativity. I'm gonna get to the negativity in hip hop, but I'm just gonna also kind of piggyback because maybe it's a smooth transition. we also had a power, man. You can go out there and vote for what you want to get on the airwaves, okay, in the radio aspect, TV. You can control the programming. You can put your money together and get your own network. And you put your own stuff on there. If you feel they're pushing their agenda, push your agenda. You know what I'm saying? Like, but let's not knock the people who pushing their agenda because they're doing it. You can't knock nobody for what they're, and I'm not saying wrong is wrong. Let me make sure I put that out there. Wrong is wrong, but you can't knock that person because what they're doing, because you can be the balance and be the positivity that's on the TV, that's on the radio, that's on the iPods, that's in the community. Now let's talk about hip hop. Hip hop does have a negative aspect to it and also a positive aspect to it. I'm talking about cultural. And I think with hip hop, it is one of the most honest vehicles into the community. You know, rock and roll not gonna tell you about the people coming together for the community to feed whomever. I haven't heard a rock song like that. I do listen to a little rock. I haven't heard that in a country record. But in hip hop, you will have a MC like Common, but you have a Waka Flocka. I mean, it's one of the most honest venues for music that relates to community. So I think it's going to happen. We have violence in our community, so they're going to rap about it. It just so happens we don't have too many MCs rapping about the Urban League Community Cultural Arts Festival, right? Because it's not popular, right? And people are starving, so they're going to do what's popular to get that money to eat. Is it right or wrong? You be the judge. But I'm saying, yeah. So at the end of the day, I'm just going to pretty much say that hip-hop is just honest. It just puts out what's going on in the streets, right or wrong.
Okay, I agree with the last part of his statement because hip-hop is definitely a mirror. And instead of us breaking that mirror, what we need to do is to look into that mirror and try to correct what it is that we see. Now, with hip-hop being that mirror and reflecting what's going on in society, reflecting what's going on, you know, with the gangsterism and shooting, like they were saying, what Dawn was just mentioning, you know, about them saying people are going to end up dead because we're bringing a hip-hop artist here, you know, as if to say that hip-hop is the cause of murder. When we know the biggest gangsters, you know, it's our own government. So we mirror what we see. And talk about the real gangsters, you know, instead of blaming these little brothers in the streets who copy off of what they see. So this is reality. Hip-hop is reflecting reality. But like I said, there's something that Al Sharpton said. He said, you don't wake up, you know, in the morning, you look in the mirror, and you see, you know, stuff in the corner of your eyes, you know, your hair all jacked up, and you're looking in the mirror. And then you go outside and say, look, I'm just going to keep it real. This is how I woke up, so this is how I'm going to walk in the street. You use the mirror to not reflect what you see, but to correct what you see. And that's what I'll say about that.
The media controls how a lot of people think. So therefore, if all they see and know about hip-hop is what's on the radio, what's blogged about, what's in the paper, what's on the videos, what they're evidently the children represent, the sagging pants, and that's what they define hip-hop as. That's reality for them. I myself am a hip-hop artist, and I don't fit into any of those comments. Does that bother me? No, because I know who I am. Every person came from people. Every hip-hop artist has a community of people that made them who they are. I came from Flint. You understand what I'm saying? So it doesn't matter where you're from, where you're at. It's who you are. Do you know who you are as an artist? A lot of artists are doing it to make money. And the dollar is controlling everything, from the media to the way that people think what they have to talk about to get that dollar, or how they have to dress, act, sacrifice their integrity for $1. So it's the dollar that's pretty much controlling the thoughts of the people, because whatever gets the dollar is what gets presented.
So it sounds like when we had our opening statements, I didn't hear anything like hip-hop is a pair of jeans, right? It was like hip-hop is this living, breathing thing, and it's a lifestyle, and it's a culture. And so these things evolve and things change. Anything that has life changes. It grows or else it dies. So is some of the negativity that is in hip hop, is that just the natural evolution of it, or is that something else happening in terms of hip hop music?
What's the first 3 letters of contract?
Got it.
Con. So, if you do want to have a distribution or you want to sign some sort of contract, make sure that it's not a 90-page novel.
That's right.
You can put in 2 paragraphs what you really want to do with a person. You can put it in 3 sentences, 4 sentences. Bottom line is, negativity is reality. You know, we can't continue to blame things on hip-hop. Because every person has a decision. A person in prison had a choice before they made an act. You know, an artist has a choice before they put lyrics to life. Words have power. So there are plenty times, because I have lived a dangerous life at a point in my life, and I changed by choice. There has been times I sat down with a track and heard particular words and erased it because I'm a mother. There have been times where I decided, oh, let me do this for the clubs, and said, nah, I'm cool where I am. So really, it's the choice of the person. You know, we can blame society all we want, but until we start making a change in ourselves, they're going to continue to have the power. You know, so basically, yeah, the negativity, it's going to always exist. There's never just been a peaceful, positive world. We wish it was, but the reality of it is it's not. It never will be, but the power lies in the people. So as long as you stop buying what is being promoted, they can't eat. It's the consumer. You know, if you choose to go say, ah, yeah, the Waka Flocka is that, but I'm about to buy it because I like it. You like it. Okay, cool. A lot of people like Waka Flocka. I'm not even knowledgeable of the brother, but at the same time, I didn't like him because of his interview on BET. That was the first time I had ever given him any energy. But I was like, wow, this brother has no knowledge, but his mother is his manager. So pimping is the power of persuasion. And that's what hip-hop is. It's a very persuasive language. So if you allow someone to persuade you to think a particular way, you've been pimped.
Keep that. I don't need it. Women in hip-hop. We talk about our community. We talk about men, women, they get together, they make children. That's the community, right? The people in the community. So in hip-hop, I think we notice it's what, male or female dominated? Male, very male dominated. Even that I've noticed, and I'm not a female lyricist, but I used to be in music, that type of thing. Even the females in music are ran by men. They direct them, they manage them, they tell them what to do, what to wear, where to go. So the hip-hop industry is definitely male dominated. And then we have all of these females, the roles that they do play is usually as a prop. I call them props, right? They the prop in the video. They could go or stay and they would not impact the music in any way. They have no other use there but to be pretty. And they just see, is that good? Hold on. Yes, you good? All right. Okay. So that's what they do. But the other side of that, got that? The other side of that is women purchase the music. We purchase the music. So as Soul was just saying, the powers and the people, it seems like it's a two dynamic thing, right? So we have the media, we have the industry that has all this financial power, but we still have power. By buying this music, by dancing to this music, just asking, are we endorsing the music? And then the actions that the music talks about as women.
Well, I don't purchase a lot of female MCs. That Nicki Minaj is not, I think she has talent, but the things that she talks about, I don't necessarily condone. You can ask my son right now who she is and he won't say the last part because I won't mind to use that word. He called her Nicki if he sees her. Because that's, you know, her name every word carry power. That's right. And it was just, I just left Africa about 3 days ago. One of the elders told me, he said, your name carries energy. When you decide to change your name, or you decide to use a particular name in hip hop or whatever it is, it has energy. You being called Soul, there's a reason why. Her being called Minaj, there's a reason why. So therefore, yes, yeah, we continue, yeah, we condone it if we purchase it. Of course. There are young sisters here, you know, I'm sure y'all have listened to Nicki Minaj, have you not? Yes. Is there any young lady out here that has not listened to Nicki Minaj and bounced your head? Anybody here that just does not listen to her at all? If she comes on, you turn it off, raise your hand. I'm talking about the young sisters here. If her song comes on, do you turn it off? Like, oh no, I'm not listening to that. That's a problem. You know what I'm saying? Because if Mama Soul came on, they might turn that off. Because of the fact that they're not turning off Nicki Minaj. So that's a problem.
Education and being a woman, love of self, knowing who you are as a woman, and having values. I'm a mother. I'm still learning about what it means to be a woman, but I know that a nation cannot rise any higher than its woman.
Say it, sister. Say it.
So I am a mother of civilization. I have a great responsibility to continue us on. And if I love myself and I know myself, I know to discern what it is that will go into my mind, because I have a future to protect. And so when we're dealing with ourselves as a people, yes, we'll continue to endure something that has destroyed us and continue to destroy us because we don't have a particular love for self. We don't have a knowledge of self. We don't have a knowledge of what it means to be a woman. That we are co-creators with God Himself.
That's right.
Because we are continuing life on. So in civilization, you don't judge a civilization by the man, you judge a civilization by the woman, because we set the standard. You look at the woman and she's down, the nation is down.
Right.
It's down. So I know there was some kind of comedian, he running through the hood saying, man down, man down. We down. And you know, sometimes you have to bring, comedy to situations like this, because if you don't laugh, you'll cry. Because we're in a terrible situation. And one of the things that we have to deal with is stopping the exploitation of our talent by outside forces who do not have our best interests at heart. We're leaving our destiny in the hands of those who don't care about us. And if we don't care about ourselves, it looks bad for our babies. You have to think about the future. You have to think about, we have to reconsider these things. As women, we're very important. And if you look at our community, the state of the community, it actually lets you know the condition of the woman. Because it's in our nature to demand proper treatment.
That's right.
So if we're not demanding proper treatment, it says that we don't have a particular love for ourselves, and we don't know our powerful role in reshaping the world. If you want to take a world down, you go through the woman.
Right.
If you want to lift a world up, you go through the woman, because she is the carrier of an idea. So you got to put Nicki Minaj up there. You got to put Lil Kim up there. You got to have our daughters emulating women who keep it down here as opposed to up here, because if we don't bring it up here, then our civilization stays down and we can continue to be conquered and ruled. We have a big job to do, and it's bigger than being able to pop your fingers for a moment, because if we look around, our condition is terrible. And we don't know, how simple it is to just say, I'm going to love me. That's it.